Welcome to SportsWareOnline. This video is designed to show you some of the available features of the program, as well as the day-to-day use of the program for athletic trainers in the athletic training room. SportsWareOnline is a 100% web-based program and easily accessible through your internet browser by typing in www.swol123.net. From there, you'll then be asked to log in with a unique email and password combination for all users trying to use this program. Once logged in, you'll be presented with the dashboard screen. From here, you can navigate to any aspect of the program. Up at the top, you'll see the row of icons which represent the different databases in which information is parsed out into. Clicking on these respective icons will take you to that database. You'll also have a database drop-down menu in the top left corner, which will allow you to navigate to the databases that way. Either way will work in navigating the system. In the center of the screen, you'll see the athlete watch list. This is a quick way where you can identify an athlete where you need to pay extra attention for and explain why they need extra attention with a quick note. Below the watch list are injuries and referrals, which allow you a quick snapshot into recent injuries and referrals added into the system based on the radial dial for today or this week. Next, we'll move to our athlete database. This is where key demographics of your athletes are kept. Searching the system, you can use drop-down menus to search for your athletes by their last name or the sport that they play. If you cannot find an athlete in the system, you can use the Add button in the top left corner to create a new profile for your athlete. Once in your athlete's profile, you'll want to add things like their first and last name, their graduation class, at least one sport that they plan on participating. You'll also see on the left side, there's a status section where you can update and modify game and practice statuses, as well as provide notes for any coach's report you wish to use the program to generate. If we scroll back to the top, you'll also see additional tabs in which you can track more information on your athletes if you choose. Once you're done completing the tabs, hit the Save button, and you'll now see the athlete's profile listed on your athlete database listing screen. Now let's move to our injury database, and we'll show you how to add an injury for your athlete. You'll first want to start by selecting the athlete by their last name that we're working with today. You can type in their last name and filter the list to find that athlete. Once selected, just click the Add button, and you'll now be opening up a new injury to add for this athlete. You want to start in your status box by inputting the correct date and time that the injury occurred at. You'll also be able to track things like your return to play date, as well as when the injury is closed out. When inputting dates in both the return to play date and close lines, you'll see that the days outfield and days open field will auto-populate with how many days out the athlete was and open the injury was. Lastly, down at the bottom, you can confirm the sport the athlete was injured in. Then in your action box, you want to select the athletic trainer who's doing the evaluation today, what type of action they are taking with the athlete, and if this athletic trainer is referring the athlete out for the injury. Now we'll move to the description area where we'll actually start putting in injury information. You'll start by the specific body area injured. Then based on that body area, you'll have a list of body parts to choose from, and then you can even apply a side if that corresponds to the injury. Then you'll see the injury line at the bottom opening up where we can put in a specific injury diagnosis, the site that injury occurred at, as well as severity of the injury. If you need to add multiple injuries for the same body area and body part, you can hit the Add button on the left-hand side and add in additional records. Now if we go to the tabs at the top, you'll see there's a background tab where you can add things to your injury regarding the mechanism, the onset, what level the athlete is, what position were they playing when they were injured, were they wearing any protective equipment at the time of injury? What activity was the athlete injured during? What season was the athlete injured in? Where did the athlete get injured? What environmental aspects contributed to this injury? And lastly, what surface was the athlete injured on? Then we can move to your Attachments tab, where you can upload any documents pertaining to this injury that you have on file or scanned in. Simply click the Add button on the left-hand side, Find the file where you saved it locally onto your computer, title your document, and then save. This will now permanently attach this record to the injury profile for you, so you can have access to it at any time. Then, if you click on the Notes tab, this will take you to where you can document any injury notes for this record. You'll want to click on the Add Notes button on the right, and a text box will then open up for you to document your notes. If you like to use SOAP notes, the athletic trainers can click on the SOAP button, and that will pull up a breakdown of all 4 fields for their SOAP note that they can use. Also, under this section, we have the Evaluate button and drop-down menu at the top where they can select specialized tests. So they'll simply click on the drop-down menu and select the type of injury they're working with, hit the Evaluate button. That will populate the tests and allow the athletic trainers to score each test they would use for that specific injury, and they can also add comments for the tests as well. Once they're done, they can hit the Save button in the top right, and these test results will auto-populate into their objective field for you within the SOAP note. Once they are done with their SOAP note, they'll hit Save in the top right corner, and that'll insert that into the text box. They can then hit Save and Close to end this note. If they want to make any additional progress notes, they can hit Add Note again, and then type into the text box their additional notes. Lastly, before they save the injury, if they want to update game and practice status for this athlete, they can click the Update Athlete button. That brings them back to their athlete profile, where they can modify their practice and game status for coaches' reports, as well as provide any additional notes regarding the injury, and also add the athlete to the watch list if they determine this is necessary. Once they're done here, they can hit Save, and this will then save every change that they've just made and add this new injury into the system. Now that we've shown you how to add an injury, we'll then show you how to add your treatments for an injury record. We'll want to change to our treatment database, confirm that we have the athlete that we're treating selected in the drop-down menu, and then we'll just click the Add button to add a new treatment. We'll want to start by selecting the injury record that we've already added into the system that we're treating today, and hit the OK button. From here, you'll be able to fill out things like the injury date and time, which will auto-populate for you. You can add things like the location where the athlete's being treated, the athletic trainer who's providing the treatment, and then down at the bottom, just select the many different treatment modalities that you're doing on the athlete that particular day. Once you're done selecting your treatment, you'll then can access any attachments that you may have added to the injury record, as well as notes, so you can update and add more notes to your injury record from the treatment screen as well. Once you're done, you can either hit Save to save this treatment, or you'll also have the option to go to the Update Athlete or Update Injury section, where you can update either one of those records as well. Also in the treatment database, you have the Duplicate button. This can be used for your frequent flyers in the athletic training room that are coming in on a daily basis. Simply select the athlete's treatment you wish to duplicate. This will then create a copy of that original record with an updated date and time, and prevent you from having to fill in each drop-down menu. Click Save, and now you've added a new treatment for this athlete. SportsWareOnline also has a Quick Treatments module, which can allow athletes to log treatments through a sign-in station on an iPad, tablet, or desktop computer device. Simply go to your Utilities tab and click the Quick Treatment AT Access mode. Then the athletes will select their name from the drop-down and choose the injury that they're there to receive treatment for. The latest treatment for that athlete will populate for that specific injury. They then can go in and check off any additional treatments that they're receiving, or change their treatments to what they are planning on getting that day. They then can hit Save in the top right corner, and that will log the treatment for the athletic trainer. The next athlete will then repeat this step for them. Another feature in the Quick Treatments module is the Treatment Grid. This is also found under the Utilities tab and will allow athletic trainers to add treatments in bulk for their athletic teams. They'll simply select the team that they're working for and select a date range for injured and treated athletes within a set number of days. That will then pull up a list of athletes that they can add treatments for. They'll just check off the different treatments that they're adding for their athletes, and there's even an option to add in the last treatment that you performed on that athlete. Once you're done adding in your treatments for your athletes, click the Save button where it'll ask you to add in the date and time and athletic trainer and location where you're administering these treatments for the athletes. Hit Save, and that'll add all those treatments for those athletes into the system for you. SportsWareOnline also allows athletic trainers to track referrals for their athletes depending on their injuries. Simply go to your referral database and select the athlete that you're referring out to a doctor. Click the Add button and choose the injury we are referring this athlete out for. You can add in the appointment date and time of this referral, the doctor you're referring to, as well as the provider where you're sending the athlete to. If you have commonly referred to doctors and providers, you can add them into the system through your phone database and use that lookup button to select from the list of commonly referred to doctors and providers. Then at the bottom we can hit the Add button and add in the different services that you're referring the athlete out for. You can include the service date and the dollar amount that service goes for if you'd like. To add in additional ones, just click the Add button again and add in additional services based on what the athlete experienced. You also have access to go back to an athlete's injury record as well as their athlete profile to update any additional information that you might need to. Click Save, and now the record has been saved. SportsWareOnline also allows you to track surgical procedures of the athletes. Go to your surgery database and select the athlete that we're working with. Click the Add button and choose the injury that they're having surgery for. Once in the record, you can add things like the doctor that did the surgery as well as the provider that they had the surgery procedure performed at. Then, down at the bottom, you can select the different surgical procedures that the athlete had for this injury. Once you're done, click Save to save the record within the system. SportsWareOnline also comes with a sign-out database. This allows athletic trainers to document equipment lent out due to injury. To add in an item for an athlete, select the athlete in question, choose the injury that we're lending out equipment for. You'll then see the date that the item was lent out, choose the item that we're lending to the athlete based on the injury, and select the athletic trainer who's lending the item out. Click Save, and that will log that this item's been lent out to the athlete. At the end of the month or the quarter or semester, you can then track through the Reports tab who has outstanding equipment that needs to be returned to the athletic training room. To run this report, go to the Reports tab and select Standard. In the drop-down menus at the top, change the athlete one to Sign Out, and in the blank one to the right, select the Outstanding report. You can then put on some filters such as the sport that the athletes play if you want to break down the report that way. You'll see here, it'll then show you any athletes that have equipment lent out to them, the date that it was lent out, their injury, and sport. There's even a column for dollar values if you want to retract your replacement costs for that item. SportsWareOnline also comes with a concussion database for all your concussion tests. Select the athlete that you're working with and click Add to start in a new baseline or a post-injury test. Then, choose the type of test you wish to run. You'll have the option between the SCAT-5, SCAT-3, SAC and BESS, VOMs, and symptom evals. Select your test, such as the SCAT-5 or SAC test. Choose your concussion question words, and then choose your options between the SAC, the SCAT-3, or SCAT-5 test. If you want to do the SCAT-5, simply click the button, and it'll pull up a bunch of tabs for you to choose your test. Fill in things like the examiner and what test we're performing that day, and then you're just going to run through each tab as it corresponds to a different aspect of the SCAT-5, filling in your responses based on the athlete's evaluation. Once you're done, click Save, and that'll log this test record in your SportsWareOnline database for you. SportsWareOnline also comes with a robust reporting tool in which you can pull up multiple reports to show what information you've logged into system. We have three options for Standard, Excel, and Custom. Most of your reports are going to be found under the standard option, but you can build your own that export directly to Excel or PDF files. Reports under the standard section are broken down by the database in which they extract information on. Some of the popular reports are found in the injury database, such as a coach's report, which shows you status of game and practice for individual athletes. You can filter this report to only show you specific teams if you'd like, as well as only specific statuses. Once you're done selecting your filters, click the print button and your coach's report will generate for you. This will show the athlete's game and practice status, their injuries, and any notes that the athletic training staff wants to inform the coach of. SportsWareOnline also has some great statistical analysis available in the report section. Reports such as the statistics group report, where you can choose sports or date ranges for filters, will show you a breakdown of injuries by body part and the number of each type of injury that occurred for that specific body part in the system. And then if you want to look at some of our treatment statistics reports, we have the CPT billing report, which will show you how many treatments each athletic trainer performed and the dollar amount associated for those treatments. Simply select the report and the filters that you want, and it'll list each of those treatments, how many, and the dollar amount associated with that, and a total dollar value for you and your treatments. SportsWareOnline also has a mobile site for your smartphones and smaller screen devices. Simply go to your phone or device's web browsing app and go to m.swol123.net to access it. Sign in with the same email and password as you would the main site, and you'll see here you have a condensed version of databases to choose from. You can still add injuries through the quick injury icon, select your athlete that we're dealing with by their sport and the first letter of their last name, and add in their injury information right on your phone from the sidelines. You can document the area, body part, and injury that the athlete occurred, the side that it occurred on, background information pertaining to the injury, and even your notes. You can even input SOAP notes through your phone, and the voice-to-text feature that smartphones have are compatible with SportsWareOnline's mobile site, so you can use that to dictate your notes into the record. Once you hit save, that logs this injury record into your database for you. You also can add in your treatments for athletes through your smartphone on the mobile site. Find your athlete by the sport that they play and the first letter in their last name. Select the injury that we're treating, and the last treatment that you did with this athlete will pre-populate the screen. Adjust the drop-downs accordingly to the treatment you're administering that time, and hit save, and this will log the treatment for you into your treatment database within the system. Also on the mobile site, you have the ability to do sideline assessment for concussions with your athletes using the Pocket Scat 3, Scat 5, Modified BESS, Symptoms, or VOMS assessment tools. Select the test that you wish to perform on your athlete, such as the Scat 5. Find your athlete by the sport that they play and selecting the first letter in their last name. Then you'll want to choose if this is an existing injury that the athlete has on file or if you need to add a new injury. If we need to select a new injury, click the This is a New Injury option and fill in the body area, body part, injury, and even side options, as well as the ATC who's doing the evaluation. Or choose from the list of existing injuries already available for you for this athlete. Then you're going to click on each tab and go through the corresponding tests with that athlete. Once you're done completing this and all the other tabs, click Save at the top, and this will add this test result into your concussion database for the athlete. That concludes our quick introduction of SportsWareOnline and its available features. For further questions, please contact CSMI.